Let's quickly cut across to KV Dhananjay, joining us, our Supreme Court advocate, for more details and perspective on this illegal sabotage that Ragini has indulged in. Here, Mr. Dhananjay, here we're looking at Ragini Dwivedi trying to tamper with her urine samples, which is given as a drug test. She's mixed water with it, and the doctors there, those officials, found immediately that there was something amiss. They somehow managed to find that this was mixed and tampered with, and asked her to go give the right samples again. CCB calls this atrocious, quite a shame. I'd like to ask you, what's the punishment for trying to tamper with evidence?
It's quite an interesting thing. Most often, police don't ask the accused to turn over their urine. Very often, they just want their blood for DNA purposes. So it's quite a rarity for the police to ask for an accused urine sample. Now, as far as not giving the right sample or tampering with the urine sample within the privacy of a room is concerned, it could amount to destruction of evidence, provided the correct urine sample will show, some metabolite of the alleged drug consumption. Or if not that, then it will fall under 203 of the Indian Penal Code of an accused giving false information. And for that, the punishment is certain, which is 2 years. Now, when it comes to destruction of evidence, the punishment is dependent on the crime to cover up which you've destroyed the evidence. So the punishment could range from 7 years to 1/4 of the term for the crime which you were trying to cover up. So whatever urine later
she's been trying hard to get bail. In fact, her custody was extended by a few days. The CCB is trying to investigate and question her indulgence in narcotic substances. And of course, the larger picture here is, if at all she was supplying, more than consumption itself. But here, with her trying to tamper her urine samples, will this ruin her prospects for bail?
You see, the interesting thing is this: for consumption, the most punishment under the NDPS Act is only 1 year. So, so if she were to fall under Section 203 of the Indian Penal Code, then it's quite ironical that she will have to go through 2 years of jail for that. But we hear about these things in sports drug testing, and I don't think she was even well advised. I mean, whoever advised her to do this probably didn't even know there is an easier method to beat these tests, which is you drink a lot of water. When you drink a lot of water, what happens is whatever drug metabolite is there in your body gets even more diluted, and these tests.
But nonetheless, hair follicles, all those tests will show results for at least 4 to 5 months if you've been drug-free.
Well, like we were discussing about these things yesterday, these tests are not approved in India to begin with. And these are good for corporate hiring and firing purposes. But these are not good for a criminal trial where the standard is proof beyond reasonable doubt. There are 350 different medications, many of which are sold over the counter. A person could consume that for whatever ailment that he or she might have had, and that will show up a false positive. If you take a zinc supplement, you will most likely show a false positive for THC. THC is a psychoactive ingredient in cannabis. So these tests, again, a lot of people will tell you that these tests are never approved. But then
our agencies are still banking on these tests which are made available in India. It's gone to a Hyderabad lab. And considering that Ragini is now being tested for if she's consumed these substances, and here she's trying to tamper with it, that's only going to throw all that hope for her for bail. In fact, I'd like to ask you, Mr. Dhananjay, here the CCB is cracking down on the entire drug nexus in Karnataka. But the focus, it seems here, it appears, is whether they have consumed drugs or not. How is that really going to help in investigation on the larger picture?
You're bang right on the point. Whether these people have consumed the drug is not going to help the police to nab the larger culprits in the trafficking scheme. Now, consumption is an entirely different universe under the NDPS law. And for consumption, the most punishment is only 1 year. Now, let's assume for a moment that the later urine sample shows some drug metabolite, and in the coming days and months, the court is going to convict her on the ground that she's consumed some prohibited drug, and she would get 1 year for that. Now, for having destroyed the evidence, she will get 1/4 of that term. But then that 1/4 the term will be covered in that 1 year. We follow the concurrent system, unlike US. They follow consecutive. So in this country, we follow the concurrent system. She may not really, in practical terms, she may not suffer more jail term for whatever destruction of evidence she's allegedly undertaken here.
But having said that, Sanjana Galrani, Mr. Dhananjay, both of them have been throwing a fit saying that they don't want to give their drug test. Is that even a option when you're arrested, you refuse to give a drug test. You say that I want to talk to my lawyers. A lot of them are hesitating, those who are under scanner right now.
Well, it's natural. But, at the end of the day, the learned magistrate in this case, I think, made a very severe error. The magistrate ought to have satisfied himself about what are these tests. You see, the tests that we talk about are tests that are conducted in the presence of the police. Under the NDPS Act itself, if the police were to want to search you in person, then they should read out a warning to you whereby you could be given the opportunity to be searched in the presence of a gazetted officer or a magistrate. Now, if the police do not read out the warning to you, but yet they claim to have searched you and they recover something out of your pocket or something, then we've seen so many cases where the courts have said, sorry, we can't believe this evidence. And there are cases where people have been acquitted based on the fact that they were not read out the statutory, warning. So
But
when such
here,
is the
Mr.
case,
Dhananjay,
how
we're
do you
talking
really
about a drug sample. Can that be vetoed at all? If it shows positive, if it's shown that they have been consuming drugs, what is this? Where does this investigation really move forward? How does it move forward? And can you implicate them for consuming?
Well, for consuming, assume the worst in Ragini's case and the worst in Sanjana's case as far as consumption is concerned. The law itself specifies that if the court were to convict a person for having consumed a prohibited drug with the most punishment of 1 year, then the court ought not to send them over to a prison, but then should send them over for rehabilitation. So, it's really very difficult to make sense of these developments and think of these developments as meant to curb consumption.
Here,
it's not
Ragini has
consumption that
been
these
part
officers
of an
should be going
active drug
after.
syndicate. I'm also drawing reference to what's happening with Riya Chakravarti's case here in Mumbai as well. What's happening in Karnataka with Ragini as well as with Sanjana. They're speaking about how both of them have been part of an active drug syndicate, where they've been part of parties, they've been consuming drugs themselves, they've been pushing it and distributing it. Now, what's the difference between that consumption for recreation and pushing for profit? What's the punishment?
If you push for profit, then if the police seriously suspect that you pushed for profit, then they wouldn't really want to test your blood or urine for metabolites of these drugs. Now, if they're doing that, then it's like they seem to believe more that you consumed it. But then there are 3 crore 10 lakh consumers of cannabis. And who's saying this? The central government said it last year officially in the report released by the Social Justice Department. So we have crores together people consuming this drug. So why is the police really bothered about consumption? They should go after the traffickers. And trafficking, in fact, has a higher punishment. And, unlike other crimes where very often we seem to think that demand will create a supply, the NDPS law is just the opposite. It says supply creates a demand, supply creates an opportunity for use. So use is punished with the most of 1 year only. Supply and trafficking is punished all the way up to 20 years in many cases.
Absolutely.
But very
Then you
often
think,
we
Mr.
find the
Dhananjay,
punishment is 10
would you
years.
believe that the priorities of the CCB here, the police, or even for that matter, the NCB is wrong? Currently, they're all pushing for those celebrities who are consuming narcotic substances, who are pushing it. Is it because of just a fact that these celebrities are influencers and they set a wrong example, or their priorities ideally should be cracked down on the supply chain? Cracking down on the supply chain that is currently rampant across. How are the drugs coming in the first place?
Absolutely. The policy of the law itself is don't go after the consumers, go after the traffickers. Because if you can manage to deal with the traffickers, then you will probably, control the consumption. And in this case, I think what the CCB should be doing is to give the public some information about what kind of trafficking that these 2 actresses might have been involved in. So far, we've seen, very bland information coming from them.
Well, the information that is that they've been partying, they've been consuming drugs at parties and concerts and distributing it among their people. That's the information that
you know what? These are actresses, and there were roles in which they've had to act as if they've consumed drugs. And we've seen a lot of those clippings, and I don't know who released those clippings.
No, but that apart, what if they've done it? What if they've done it? What if they have consumed drugs and passed it around?
Well, if they consume drugs and if they passed it around in a party, then it's quite unlikely that it will be treated as trafficking. I can tell you, trafficking is a different animal altogether.
Right.
And, when you have 3 crore 10 lakh users, officially, according to the government, central government, and many people will say this number is very conservative.
Absolutely, Mr. Dhananjay, you're right. In that case, every industry, every sector, every second person across the country, possibly, like you said, millions of them who are currently consuming marijuana within the country, what does the law really say for consumption versus trafficking or supplying, pushing? There's so much ambiguity around it. That has to be made clear first. But nonetheless, what Ragini Dwivedi has done there, trying to mix her urine with water only to sabotage those samples, her drug tests, it's shameful, to say the least. Thank you very much, Mr. Dhananjay, for joining us with those details. We're going to leave you with that. Stay tuned for an India Today special on the other side.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.